for a second, please. I'd like to say a few words before I introduce a really good friend that everybody in this room certainly knows. My name is Kevin Gosnell, and I am the owner of Asphalt Srvices, a localized company here throughout the New England region. And unfortunately, I was diagnosed with ALS about 3 or 4 months ago. I just want to talk a little bit about my experience with Ron and how things kind of got to where they are. So I was at Mass General Hospital when I was diagnosed, around end of May, beginning of June it was. And it's really hard to sit in a doctor's office where there's no real medical supplies or anything. It's just kind of like a couple of chairs and a desk. And the reason that is because, as most of you guys in this room know, there's no treatment, there's no cure, and there's not really much that they can do to help you. And let me tell you, from somebody that has been a fighter his whole life, and somebody that's been goal-driven, goal-orientated, built companies, built businesses, done all sorts of things like that your entire life, to get news that there's nothing you can really do. There's no hope. I kind of worked through talking at Mass General, and I said, you know, there's got to be somebody out there that can help. The nurses were nice enough to give me this name. They said, we have this guy that we can refer you to. His name's Hoffman from CCALS, and give him a call, and he might be able to help you. And I was talking to the doctor. I said, so what do we do? How does this work? He said, well, I'll see you in 3 months. I said, okay, so what happens in 3 months when I come back? He said, well, you know, if your leg gets a little worse or something happens, maybe we can get you a brace, or we can do something to help work along the way. You know, eventually, you may not be able to speak, so we have a speech pathologist here. All these different things to help you along the process. And I got to tell you, when you're sitting there and you're told that you've got a terminally ill disease and you're dying, and there's absolutely no hope and there's nothing you can do, it is just a horrendous thing to be told. Horrendous. And so I made a phone call to this man named Hoffman from CCALS, and called his office. Of course, he got right back to me, booked an appointment, came out to see me. We hadn't told our kids or anything yet because I had kind of a public company, and I had to think about, first of all, me and my wife to get our minds around, you know, all of our dreams, and everything that we planned on is gone. So, came to our house and met with us, and he was tremendous. He sat with us and talked about, you know, how he could help us and what things will look like as we journey down the road. And he said a great statement. He said, I'm going to walk side by side with you in this. Let's not look behind. Let's not look ahead. Let's just work side by side, and I'll be there for you to help you. And me and Ron formed a great friendship pretty early. We just connected. And I was trying to find something where I could use my talent and use my ability. And I kind of broke it into 2 pieces, which was care and cure. And there's nobody better with the care side. And I just want to talk a little bit about, I know a lot of you guys probably know Ron, but some of you might not. And Ron helps with a lot of things. I'm fortunate that I have a company and a tremendous group of executive team and partners to help me. Like, I can't imagine life if I didn't have all the resources that I have. And most people are not as fortunate, as lucky as I am. So as I started to talk to Ron, you know, Ron helps a lot in the with physical things. Whether or not, you know, you need something to help support, or whether it be a wheelchair, whether it be a scooter, whether it be, you know, different devices to help you along the way. Because as you lose things, you know, like my right arm, I can't pick things up as well, you know? So all these little things that you start to lose, you start navigating life, getting off the toilet seat. You know, I need a whole thing around the toilet seat to get up. Right? You know, 7 months ago, I was jogging. 8 months ago, I was jogging. You know, not saying they're navigating through all these different changes as you go. And to have a guy there along the way that can say, okay, this is what you need, this is how we do this piece, okay, this is starting to go, I'm going to help you with this, I'm going to help you with that. And just to give you that support on all the physical end, because there's a million products, a million things out there, and the things that he's created for that has been absolutely tremendous. Secondly, and I think this is the most important piece, is the emotional and spiritual help, okay? That is second to none. He was nice enough to spend a night, go out to dinner with my 3 boys. I have an 18-year-old son going off to college and twins that are 16 and a half. Difficult situation for them to deal with. And he just started to connect with them and started to help them and let them know that he was going to be there to help and work through this horrendous, difficult time, but he would be somebody that would help them through the journey. And that alone, you know, I'm trying to keep this somewhat short. But that piece alone was huge. Then, you know, we've had some meetings together at different doctors and stuff. Some things we're trying to put together, and you know, discovering the education piece that he brings to the table, how to teach professionals, how to actually work with somebody that's being diagnosed, how to walk them through the process. Right? That's a whole different animal unto itself. Transportation. I mean, he's got vans. That help people. Somebody goes away on vacation, he helps set the whole thing up, right? So think about this for a second. The typical person, okay? And then just put yourself in this situation for 1 second, all right? You or your spouse loses their job, okay? Maybe the health care for the family's now gone. You have to go on disability and you make $1,000 or $1,100 a month. Okay, your pay's cut way down substantially. All right, so now there's not only a stress of the fact that you're dying, there's not only a stress of the fact that the marriage is going to break up, kids are going to lose a spouse. Now there's an economic pressure on top of all of that. And we all know what that looks like, the economic pressure there unto itself. Okay, so you're navigating death, you're navigating all the emotions and breakup, and you're navigating all of these things. You know, and Ron steps in, if a family wants to try to go away or get away or do something for a night or whatever, he helps make that work. Well, you know, it's a challenge, and I'm not that far along right now, okay? But even for me to come down here, you know, to get a wheelchair that can go out on the beach, or make sure I got a room here that had a wheelchair, that had handicap accessible. All those little things that I don't even know if people know all the stuff that he does to help make that experience work for the family, okay? It's tremendous. And, you know, and the last piece is the financial support. And as I got to know Ron and I got to help him and work with him, and I'm excited to help him as long as I can and use what I know to help him. The constant calls that he gets, okay? I wish all of you could be in the car with him and get the calls that he gets for somebody's going to get their light shut off or lose their house. And he's trying to find a way to give them the money to make that happen. Okay? It's just huge. And whether someone can't get a scooter or they need a lift because they can't get out of the house, and all these things cost so much money. You see the stress on them. He's trying to figure out a way to make it work. The guy works 7 days a week, you know, night and day, constantly trying to handle the needs of all these families and all these people. You know, it's unbelievable what this man, what this guy does. How can you not support him? How can you not help him? Right? So I'd like to read this this poem before I introduce this great guy. It's called "What Will Matter" by Michael Josephson. Ready or not, someday it will all come to an end. There will be no more sunrise, no days, no hours or minutes. All the things you collected, whether treasured or forgotten, will pass to someone else. Your wealth, fame, and temporal power will shrivel to irrelevance. It will not matter what you owned or what you were owed. Your grudges, resentments, frustrations, or jealousies will finally disappear. So too, your hopes, ambitions, plans, and to-do lists will all expire. The wins and losses that once seemed so important will just fade away. It won't matter where you came from or on what side of the tracks you lived. It won't matter whether you were beautiful or brilliant. Your gender, skin color, ethnicity will be irrelevant. So what will matter? How will the value of your days be measured? What will matter is not what you bought, but what you built. Not what you got, but what you gave. What will matter is not your success, but your significance. What will matter is not what you learned, but what you taught. What will matter is every act of integrity, compassion, courage, and sacrifice that enriched, empowered, or encouraged others to emulate your example. What will matter is not your competence, but your character. What will matter is not how many people you knew, but how many will feel a lasting loss when you're gone. What will matter are not your memories, but the memories of those who loved you. And what will matter is how long you will be remembered, from whom and for what. I want a round of applause, please, and introduce Ron Hoffman. Will matter.
Just like our organization has grown for 17 years, I think. Our work continues, and I certainly am unable to do this alone. I'm really, really grateful for my staff, Aaron, and Christine, and Travis, and Shannon, and Ted. Can you all stand up, please? And Kate, and many of the people who volunteer, and Eric, and Steve, who are in the trades, who help us with our families, in tending to them. And there's many, many more. I've got several of our board members here, Annie and Jerry Trubiano, Brian Bossman, Jim Bruce. Can you all stand quickly, please? Yeah. And what's interesting is, with my board members, those are individuals and families who have experienced the journey of ALS. And Jerry and Annie I've known since 1999. 1999 they've been with me. And what's been going on a lot right now, and I'm really trying to find my voice more around it, is the importance of the care and the tending that we bring to our families, which we've always done. But to me, the imbalance of care versus cure, it needs to be equal. It truly, truly does. And unfortunately, culturally, there's misplaced something around that. And I don't know why that is. You know, not to be morbid, but we see, as an organization, families going through extraordinary circumstances. Everyone not having the capacity to tend to their loved ones, to navigate the bureaucracy that they often face. And that's where we come in. But we live in a culture that doesn't seem to care enough about it. And that's where we come in and do the best that we can in tending to our families, in bringing that calm guidance and awareness to their circumstance. You know, when I leave families, I always try to remember to remind them, feel free to call me if you have any questions about anything, right? About anything. Because everything comes up. You know, as Kevin said, it's hard for people out there to understand the enormity of the circumstance of the families in here who've experienced the world of ALS. And so the commonality that we all have is just that. I'm grateful that we're here. I'm sorry that that's the commonality. But there are people who walked in all of our shoes with completely different stories, and we all have extraordinary stories. And you know, I've seen firsthand how many of you have tended to your loved ones, and it's extraordinarily and beautiful. And for you to continually support our work, I am eternally grateful. And we cannot do it. I could never have done this without the support of my families. There's just no way. I continually learn from you. You know, meeting Kevin, meeting my friend Matt, meeting my other friend Matt, as in Bruce and Belina. The stories are extraordinary. And you enable us, you enable me to continue doing what I do, what we do. There's no way I could do what I do without you saying yes to what we're bringing. And everyone doesn't say yes. Maybe I'll have a little taste. Okay, that's fine. But for those that say yes, that allow us to walk side by side, not in front, not behind, that enables us. That's when the synergy unfolds. That's where the energy unfolds. That enables my staff to say, yes, wow. Because sometimes, as you know, things get really hard. They get hard for us. They get hard for us just to witness, to be able to stand and witness and be in the fire with many of our people. So you being here, you running in the Falmouth Road Race, and I think this is our 15th year, and I think we're real close to $350,000 right now, which is pretty cool. And without the support of families like the Fontaine family, my friend Claude, and the numerous families that we work with and we see, not just here in Massachusetts, but all over New England. And we get calls from all around the country. And I've had families in Colorado and California and Michigan and beyond. But for you to keep saying yes to it, it enables us in Maryland and Virginia. And, you know, the relationships have really kept me going. Have kept me going. I'm thinking, you know, I see all these families. My friend Kathy Dudley, the Powers family, the Bosman family, new families, and old families. Families we work with today, families we knew yesterday, and the families that we will meet tomorrow. We cannot do what we do without your support and your voice. Care is equally as important as cure. Care is equally as important as cure, and it should be side by side. And my hope is one day our healthcare system and those in the world of research will understand that. And it's not just not care, it's the right care. Who's walking in the door and what are you bringing? How do we bear witness? How do we truly show up? The art of showing up. Just as there is an art in listening, there's an art in tending to people. There's an art in walking in the door, assessing what's unfolding, and knowing too much is too much, or knowing just to leave. For those of you who know me, I don't believe in the word advice. I use the word counsel. So my counsel here in this moment is just spread the word. There's this organization that does the best that they can, and they show up, and they do their very best to be present and to make happen whatever they can make happen. And it's different from one family to the next. It's hard to define what we do. The breadth of our work is extensive. So just call them. It doesn't matter what they do, you might want to call them. That's always my response. I'm incredibly proud of the people I work with, my staff, my board, and all of you, the people who have said yes and who are here. I cannot not say enough about that. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, for myself, for my crew, for all of our families who aren't here. They don't know. You know, they don't know what you know. Okay? And maybe they do, maybe they don't. But y'all have allowed us to walk with you. I'm eternally grateful for all these friendships, and I pray that they continue. Thank you for your support, and just share with your friends. CCALS, thank you.